me a tutor and draw me a line. Well, there's a sweet, solemn stillness that steals over you when you're west of Dodge City and you're 102. It's all your misspoken words and all the birthdays you've missed fall like smoke butts to the black tops. You break forth into bliss. So I woke in the east, boys, I lay down in the west. And in the dawn's early light, I called the courtesan blessed. I tended my youth to the usurers still. For the lust of the chrome, the fire and the steel. Yes, I'm a fool, as you may have divined. No less of a fool than a cheater you'll find. 'Cause it's 1,200 miles to that Texoma line. Running 3 logbooks, boys, on that tutoring land. Then I looked on my work and I saw it was good. So I called myself God from the rock where I stood. Till the Sabbaths I shunned showed up to be paid. Left me busted up bleeding on the bed that I made. Does Rebecca still work at the old 201? Does Rebecca still work at the old 201? You know, she asked me to stay, but they were feeders to run. Does Rebecca still work at the old 201? My teeth, they are broken and my friends are all dead. My teeth, they are broken and my friends are all dead. 'Cause it's beans for my meat, boys, cornmeal for my bread. 'Cause my teeth, they are broken, my friends are all dead. So I take me a tutor and I draw me a line. Take me a tutor and draw me a line. I ran West Memphis and I run it on town.
Here you see James.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Now they ain't got to live with that tutor in the line. Sure. Any other requests?
Ballad of Pork
Father
Chop
alone.
Honey.
Ballad of Pork Chop Honey, that's an excellent request. So, Ballad of Pork Chop Honey is based on a true story. It's about a dump truck driver from Indiana. And on August 19th of 2019, there was a gentleman in a high-speed chase with the Indiana State Police. And he was 2 times over the legal limit with multiple drugs in the system. He was going northbound in the southbound lane, and he was seconds away from plowing into a live construction zone. And there was a guy named William Honey, whose CB handle was Pork Chop, and he heard all this going on the radio, so he used himself and his truck as a shield, and is credited with saving the lives of 1 to 2 dozen people who were on the ground. So the union was so grateful for what he did that they commissioned a song in his honor, and I had the privilege of being the one they called to write that song. And it goes something like this.
Fresh pork chop. Fresh pork chop, potatoes, salad.
Yeah, right there.
Y'all gotta spend the night here or go home tonight? Oh, man. Well, you're
Really easy
staying
to
up
watch
all
it.
too
This is
late
long
for
haul
this.
Paul, guys. Long haul Paul.
I'm honored that you're doing
I
that.
don't know if they heard me or not.
Stand right quick.
How far is Jonesboro from here?
Guys, you can find Long Haul Paul on YouTube. You guys also on Facebook, Paul?
Oh,
Yes.
I knew that, but I just wanted to.
Thank you. Okay. Here we go. So I got to interview William Porkchop Honey. He actually became an article in Overdrive magazine because I've got a side gig writing for them. And he said any teamster there on that job that night would have done the same thing. So something like this. That knob there, Denise, the closest knob to you, can you turn it back down a little bit towards you? Towards you. Now back up a little. Thanks. Wanted man out of Mexico. He's blowing more than a 2.0. He's northbound in the southbound lane. Pound whiskey and cocaine. Inside now of the cones of a live construction zone. Running from the ISP. Heading straight for you and me. We was paving there on 65. Praying just to stay alive. The year had gone from bad to worse. 9 from our crew killed since the birth. Angie was calling on the radio. He's coming fast, boys, so you know he's made it past the million crew. He's coming fast, straight for you. Porkchop was a working man, big old boy with a one-armed tan. He seen them blue lights from the back of his big red diesel Mac. He saw that speeding car careen, so Porkchop took one for the team. He drove straight in the drunkard's path. That had to hurt. You do the math. But everyone crews they came around. To old pork chop's own hometown, they called him the hero of the land. He says, I'm just an old truck driving man, but pork chop, honey, he risked his life, the widowhood of his own wife, to live by the diesel driver's code. One life for 10 out on the road. Now you may pull a reaper with 18 skids, but think of what old pork chop did. Give them the Jake boys, do what's right, so everyone can go home tonight. Everyone's going home tonight. Everyone's going home tonight. Everyone's going home tonight. Everyone's going home tonight. Here's to the laborers in 1112 who make their living in a man-made hell. They go to work. They never know if they'll make it home just to build a road. The 120, the 103, the 135. We build the big roads that we drive. We give them the break, boys, do what's right, so everyone can go home tonight. Everyone's going 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 home tonight. Wanted man out of Mexico, blowing more than a 2.0, northbound and the southbound lane, high on whiskey and cocaine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Since we're kind of on the bull hauler theme, I had a really interesting phone call about 4 years ago. A gentleman asked if I could write a song about his life. And that's a very fraught proposition because people's lives are not always as interesting as they think they might be. And I said, I don't usually do that, but what do you got? And he said that his father had been a cattle hauler, and his mother, his father met his mother. His mother, let's just say his mother was from a much older profession than truck driving, and they met there at the parking lot of the Union 76 truck stop in Amarillo. And I said, yeah, I think I can write that song. And so it became it's a thing called the Ballad of the Bull Hauler's Son. I don't know if you all have heard that one. Okay. Oh, good. I thought, usually, you know how Spotify will say, if you liked 30 Weight Coffee, you might like the Ballad of the Bull Hauler's Son. Well, that's kind of why it shows up. This tuning break's brought to you from Bull Snot Blastable. It'll save a marriage if you're team trucking together. Bull Snot Blastable. And since you all have to drive to Jonesboro tonight, don't be shy if you have any requests, because I know you can't stay forever. Now, if I get this one done, think of a request while I do this one, okay? I was made in the back of an old snub-nosed Mack in the summer of '75 by an old cowpot and a girl from the lot. She was scuffling just to stay alive. She'd been beaten, broke down in that hard Texas town. Lord, she'd fallen into a terrible fix. Deanna said, let's get you on out of here, girl. I come along in '76. Then times was good, and life was kind, and God was smiling down on the earth. Daddy found a cherry red 359 had been built in the year of my birth. It had a 1693 Caterpillar motor, 15 double over against the dash. Daddy took a sack from that old out back, and he paid it all in cash. Life on the road, I run 1,000 roads with that old man when I was young. The highway has its own hard code, and he hammered it into his son. God took him from the line in 2009. I still think of the things that he said. Don't tell me the best days are over now, and the good hands are all gone and dead. Well, we had a little spread on that old creek bed in the green state of Tennessee. Little piece of land near my papa's and my nan's. It was mama, it was daddy and me. Every week or two he'd come off that cold cow run. He'd take me down to the old pay pond. One day in early spring, 5 bluegill on the string. I come home and mama was gone. Well, I looked in daddy's eyes and he showed no real surprise. He just gathered all my dirty clothes. Next day he slammed the chute. We loaded for Dubuque. That's the way this old story goes. Now my father, he is not, and that lady from the lot, my mama, I will see no more. But there's just one life we've got. Don't weep for what you're not. Y'all take that from the son of a... I'm on the road, I run 1,000 loads with an old man when I was young. The highway has its own hard code, and they hammered it under his son. God took him from the line in 2009. Now I still think of the things she said. Don't tell me the best days are over, and the good hands are all gone and dead. Thank you.
How about Cracker King?
Yes, Paul is a truck
Cracker
driver, guys.
King.
Paul is a truck
Excellent
driver, guys.
choice.
How long you been driving truck now, Paul?
Well, I started driving, parking my dad's trucks when I was 14. Drove my first truck for pay when I was 18. I started doing some kind of full-time trucking when I was 19. That was 79. I took a
Long
couple
time.
breaks from it. But back then it was straight trucks, and then in 87 actually, I started tractor trailering.
There you go. Had somebody ask if you're a truck driver.
Oh, somebody asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I still truck. I still drive a truck.
It never gets out of your blood.
No, I hope to be driving when I'm 80, but just not full time.
No, I hear you.
It's nice. It's just nice to get out there and I don't know. There's something about just waking up and not knowing where you are for just a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Just puts you on the cutting edge.
Know exactly what you mean.
All right, so this is for Will and family and friends from Jonesboro, Arkansas. They brought home, what's the saying? How do you say that? They brought home a lot of iron tonight, or they brought home the iron? They brought home the iron tonight. Denise, can you turn the guitar up just a little bit now? Yeah, that very first one. Just keep bringing it up. It was a different time, thank you, different lane. Did what it took to make a hand from Okeechobee to Alabama. Them boys just knew one thing. You go get your truck built for speed. A bag of dust they call chicken feed. You stayed in the saddle till your nose would bleed. Just get them cows down the lane. When your woman said, sugar, when you gonna slow down? You just smiled and said, maybe baby come next round. The Cracker King is long gone. Never stayed nowhere too long. Might have been right, it might have been wrong, but all the boy did was wrong. You were the box rate boys out of Pompano, with your panty loafers and the best to blow. You loaded the ride when the man said go, and made Hans Point in one day's time. I followed you once out of Marshall, Maine. You had the stainless spread with a double frame. You were pushing 50 ton through the Georgia rain, headed for the Florida line. And when your woman said, it's your 359 on me, you just smiled and said, I love you baby, say love me. Well, they called me one morning. It was 3:30. He was somewhere outside of Tucumcari. He said he hadn't slept since Tennessee, and he had seen Satan there. He puts everything he found on a magnet strip, downloads it all into a microchip, and every time you shower, and every time you he knows just when and where. Now the DOJ, they hatched up a plan. They had the devil did the rights on a rebate scam. They said we're willing to wipe the slate clean if you give us all you got on the Cracker King. The Cracker King is long gone. Never stayed nowhere too long. Might have been right, might have been wrong, but all the boy did was wrong. I said, Sammy said he'd seen you in old San Home. sleeping on pallets that were polished and chrome. You lost your truck, you lost your home. You barely had a tooth in your head. There's plenty of jobs needing done around here. I could pay you enough to keep you in bed. He took a deep breath, heard his voice clear, and then the line went dead. It was back in Amarillo, late in the foul, when the cashier said he finally hit the wall. All he had in his coat was some Demerol and an empty bottle of wine. And in the sweat-stained stench that used to be his shirt was a picture of Rita in that miniskirt. She was looking so fine and made a poor boy hurt. She was leaning on that P-59. It was a different land, a different town. What we called hard work, they now call a crime. When Okeechobee to that Babylon, them boys just knew one thing. Nice to meet you all. Take care, Will.
Guys, be safe.
Be safe going home.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much. You did great.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Oh, buddy.
One too many straight shots, man.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay, I know you're tired. Come on.
So, back in April 9th, 2001, I was in a multi-trauma accident and I incurred a hangman's fracture, which was in the C2 vertebrae. I had three fractures on the C2 vertebrae, and I was just pushing too hard, you know. I was the guy that could get the hard loads there, and that event altered my life, and it really caused me a financial ruin. But one thing it did, when I had that hangman's fracture, it permanently altered my vocal cords, and there's a word for that. I can't think of it. Dysphonia. I had my vocal cords, my voice, and my singing was permanently altered. And it took me a long time to dig out from all that. But when we finally dug out from all that, it really set me back 15 years, that event. Somewhere along there, people told me, I think I really like the way you sing. Now, I don't recommend you bury your big rig in the backside of a 53-foot Great Dane Reefer to launch your country singing career. That's sort of how it worked out for me, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful just to be anywhere at all, really, and very grateful to be in this trailer that this kind man has very graciously offered us tonight, and here at the American Truckers Jubilee. You know, there's a certain triumph in that. You know, we had rain, and the rain put a damper on things, but it's really wonderful when truck drivers get together and find a solution. You know, there's a certain grace in that. So thank you, Brother Jimmy. And hey, Paul, good to see you. Have a seat. You sit right there, or sit anywhere.
You want to sit on my lap?
Yep, Trumpet almost taller than me. That's a bull snot trophy. That's what it's out. Yeah. Again. Bull got big horn. Yes, sir.
1980. $1.89. Diesel was just $1, so we came from the hills and hollows just to work that broken line. See, you take your truck with a big block mechanical Cummins, soup it up till it was humming, just like them old boys running shine. We burned them second morning Detroit's out of Salinas, slept an hour in Amarillo and an hour in Illinois. There was a lot of thieves and bandits we bore between us. It was a golden age of the good old boy. And it was 97. I was a hardcore true believer. There was a good girl, but I had to leave her for the Church of the Western Star. But I paid my tithes to the polishers of chrome, and I called the road my home. I just knew I was going far. We burned down the next day, little days of Cincinnati. Stepping out, Master Ringgold scales. Late at night I could hear my mama and my daddy. Oh, stay in College Paul while I turbo wheel. Straight shots to Miami. One too few nights in my own bed. They had to carry me back home to Indiana. 7 broken bones left these scars upon my head. And it was all 19. Little hobbled when I walk in, little cut back on my top end. I'm just trying to stay out of your way, but my record's clean. And they tell me that I'm compliant. It's more like I'm too old to be defiant, but I still dream about those days. Well, there used to be a quiet understanding. When all else fails, you run that freight on town. But now I'm busted on the cruel backside of Banning, with some triple-digit large car in my mind. Thank you so much. Brian, Cindy, do you have any requests? $30-weight coffee. 30-weight coffee. All right. You got it. 30-weight coffee. So the story behind this song is I used to be a route man for JMC Restaurant Distribution. They were based out of Coppell, Texas, and they had terminals in Richmond, Indiana, and near Atlanta. And we were the delivery distributing. You know, we delivered to CC's Pizzas all over the United States. You know? So I made my living with a lift gate and a two-wheeler, and we would wheel in the flour. And I love that job. There's a lot of physical work involved, and it just made you feel good. And hey, congratulations, Load to Ride. I saw you brought home the iron. And anyways, I became a trainer for them. I really loved that job. They gave me this guy who'd been a problem child, and he had been a cattle hauler. And he goes, my boss had a real gruff voice. He goes, we're about ready to cut this guy loose, but just do what you can with him. And this guy shows up for work like, you know, pressed jeans, like really nice cowboy boots with smooth soles, nice western shirt. And he's just a constant loggerheads with management. Yeah, but this guy is just the best storyteller I've ever heard in my life, you know. And I like, this guy wasn't just a walking country song, it was a walking country album. And and I got back from that run, I said, well, you guys have been training this guy all along. Why are you letting him even go to work with smooth-soled cowboy boots? We are a delivery service. You need single-soled, slip-resistant work shoes, and you're positioning him to fail. And I just wanted him to stay in my truck as my trainee until I knew this guy just had the stories, and it was just like everything he said was like country music, solid gold. And I said, I'll bet you a case of Corona I can make him delivering me. And I got him stabilized, but 9 months later he got cross-threaded with management. And I lost a case of Corona on that old boy. But I got this here song. 30-way coffee, Lucky Strike chains. 30-way coffee, Lucky Strike chains. I read West Memphis out of Champagne. Was on 30-way coffee, Lucky Strike chain. See, I freighted the fat hogs straight from the farms. I chased the cutters and the coal cows from 100 sail barns. And when the feeders went west, by the time it turned fall, that's when the miles they got crazy, the money got tall. So I take me a tutor and I draw me a line. Take me a tutor and draw me a line. There you go. And she returns a hard run and an old W9. Boys, I'd take me a tutor and draw me a line. Well, there's a sweet, solemn stillness that steals over you when you're west of Dodge City doing 102. It's all your misspoken words and all the birthdays you've lived fall like smoke busts to the blacktop as you break forth in the bliss. So I woke in the east, boys, I laid down in the west. And in the dawn's early light, I called a chorus and blessed. Yes, I'm a fool, as you may have divined. Though less of a fool than a cheater you'll find. 'Cause it's 1,200 miles to that Texoma line. Nice running 3 logbooks, boys, on that Tudor line. Then I looked on my work and I saw it was good. So I called myself God from the rock where I stood. Till the Sabbaths I shunned showed up to be paid. Left me busted up, bleeding on the bed that I made. Now my teeth, they are broken and my friends are all dead. My teeth, they are broken, my friends are all dead. 'Cause it's beans for my meat, boys, cornmeal for my bread. 'Cause my teeth, they are broken and my friends are all dead. 'Cause Rebecca still works at the old 2-1. 'Cause Rebecca still works at the old 2-1. You know, she asked me to stay, but then her feet are shut. There's Rebecca Stewart at the old 2-1. So I take me a Tudor and I draw me a line. Take me a Tudor and draw me a line. I run West Memphis and I run it on town. There ain't nothing left of that Tudor anyway. Thank you.
Legend Johnny Ray.
Happy birthday,
Listen to
Bertie.
Johnny Ray. That's an excellent choice. So back after, if you were a guy from East Dubuque, Alabama, 2001 was a really, really hard year. Because not only did we endure the attacks of 9/11, but Dale Earnhardt died that year. And what probably was the hardest for a guy named Johnny Ray, who had a small trucking company. And because Johnny Ray was credited with giving Dale Earnhardt his start, and they were lifelong friends. And Johnny Ray was a very interesting historical figure. He was an early NASCAR driver. Back in the early days of NASCAR, when NASCAR was comprised of off-duty truckers and former moonshiners, back in the rough and tumble early days of the Winston Cup. Johnny Ray was a certified racer on that circuit until his life almost ended in a horrible crash in Daytona when he ran into an oil slick. Johnny Ray, I share this with Johnny Ray, he also sustained a hangman's fracture in that accident. And so he became a team owner for a while. He grew up very poor, but his family actually farmed the land where Talladega Super Speedway now sits. After the 9/11 attacks, he asked the management of the Super Speedway if he might just take the American flag around the track for a lap of silence for the 9/11 victims. And that it remains a tradition to this day. Johnny Ray died not long ago. I co-wrote this song with a wonderful co-writer by the name of J.D. Haynes, who's from Easterburg, Alabama, and grew up admiring Johnny Ray very much. And it goes something like this. I was born in Easterburg, Alabama. Easterburg is where I'm from. About every baby born in Easterburg, Alabama's to some truck driving son of a gun. I weren't no dear Johnny anywhere in Alabama. Hold a candle, that's one horse heart. To that Talladega trucker one time, when it's a couple man they call Mr. Johnny Ray. Now Johnny Ray come up the old hard way, cotton with the plow and the mule. He bore a picking sack across his itty bitty back, hardly had any kind of school. But he left the farm in due course, went into the Air Force. When they took him from the shack and they put him on the track and they let their people war drive. They were no smoother, boot upon the pedal, no sure hand on the wheel. They were no pure Talladega better than when Johnny Ray done that deal. He'd take a load out to a Lula, go back home and race a tunnel, be back to work on Monday. They were no gear jammer anywhere in Alabama, hold a candle to Mr. Johnny Ray. Now 2001 was a hard year, son. I remember like it's yesterday. Bernard hits the wall and the Twin Towers fall. Hard times in the USA. Now Talladega's coming, they say, yeah, we're still running. Wouldn't have it any other way. Yonder on the track come that poor boy from the shack. Man, they call Mr. Johnny Ray. I never will forget that old Air Force man and that chromed out custom 359. Pulling from Brent Row, you could hear old glory glow, hear that lonesome old turbo line. Now every woman, every man in the Talladega stands, they stood up, they put down their beers. And when Johnny hit the jig, it's like thunder when it breaks. You can hear all America cheer. Anybody want to help me with the jig? 1, 2, 3, 4.